Hello, and welcome. This is the Verse and Lucas podcast. At the moment, it's just me on the mic because my co-host as well as the guest for this week is late. They should be arriving very shortly, so I'm just gonna fill the airwaves for a second, and then they can just waltz in, and just be like, "Oh shit! Oh look at this! We already got the motherfuckers going in." So, hey, it's Lucas. There you go. So I already started recording. I'm just gonna have everyone show up. You guys get the behind the scenes footage as the fucking the people file in. Um, well, yeah. What was I saying? Oh, I'm fucking getting text messages. Let's go.
It was a bad day at work.
Oh
I do
no.
this funny thing where every day at the end of work, I go to a different building and I steal like 10 of their ice pops because they have better ice pops.
That
Whoever manages
powerful.
this other building, they buy like these electrolyte ice pops and they're so fucking good. So I go over and I come in and I'm like self-conscious about it, right? Like I'm taking so many that I feel like I can't just go in and take them. So I sit down and I talk to people who are in the break room for a little while and then I do it.
You gotta fucking just fuck them. Just take all their shit.
Well,
Stealing work is
all
even
have
more
started asking like, so like, what's your job? Like, what part of the building do you work in? What's and, and like I don't know anything about any of the parts of that building.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to start going over there during the workday also, and talking to people in the hallway and figuring out like what exactly what do you guys even do over here? Like how I need to figure out how to like effectively lie because like they could also look me up on
What
the
do you guys
internal
do
thing.
over here?
Yeah.
Nice. You just gotta say you're in operations. That's all you need. That's in every business. Oh, I'm in operations. And then of course you're always talking to the person in that department. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Oh,
I have a
I'm in
super secret
operations
job.
too.
I'm
Are you
actually
new?
undercover, as it turns
Yeah.
out.
When I was new, this was so this was so epic. I had they gave us this big security training seminar on how you're never supposed to let anybody else into the building. When you swipe your badge and then you go in,
Mm-hmm.
you have to like immediately shut it in the face of the person after you.
Based.
And so the next day I went to work and I like see the person behind me and it wasn't someone I'd ever seen in my building before. So I'm like, I'm sorry, but I have to close this. And then he comes in, and it turns out it was like the VP of the. It
Hell
was
yeah.
like he's like, I'm glad that you've taken our training to heart. We spent a lot of time trying, and I was like, oh my god,
That's
that
awesome.
was like the ultimate shit test, bro.
Yeah, you look, and if you had let him in, he would have been like, this fucking guy. Hell yeah.
Well, it was also like, I mean, that could have gone either way, man. Like,
That's true. They wouldn't have said anything otherwise, but you almost get brownie points for closing it in his face. That just shows like
well, it's like it depends. If he was like the VP who voted against this, and he was like, nah, this is retarded, man. I hate this shit. Like, it could have been totally over for me, dude.
that's true. That's actually a good point. He's like this is what's exactly what's wrong with this company.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in charge,
Gets the door slammed in his face. PC culture has gone too far. The
Thanks, Obama.
libtards are taking everything.
Thank you, Brandon, or whatever the fuck it is. Okay, Brandon. I don't know what the fucking I can't even do the what is it, Brand? It's something Brandon. What's the Brandon meme
Uh,
for Biden? Where they're
wasn't it
like,
just like, oh, let's go, Brandon?
let's go, Brandon. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
so fucking bad at this. Like once I decided that obviously it was always a sham, but once like the election was stolen, I was like, I can't even like pretend to focus on this anymore. I can't even keep up with the political memes.
Our whole sphere, like, literally everybody just got totally blackpilled out of ever caring ever again.
Yeah, you like I could not even pretend to care if I there's nothing, not an ounce of like a.
It
Drop
was so
within
funny
me.
too because prior to that, I would have, if somebody would have said like, "How much do you care about politics?" I would have answered like, "Not really at all." but like I didn't understand how much lower the floor could be
Exactly. It goes so
until
fucking
it
deep.
happened, and I just instantly was like, oh, like it's all a meme. Like
Yeah.
all of this is a huge sham.
Yeah, no, I was like, it was like before it was kind of like a fun thing. It's like oh, I don't really care, none of this really means anything. But
But there was still clearly like 3% of my brain that believed that there was
yeah,
some part of the outcome that could be changed, right? And then
exactly.
like, and then that happened, and it was like, I'm literally totally wasting my time. Like, I was like, this is the equivalent of like playing a video game, right? Like that makes you retarded. Like it's like if somebody invented Minecraft, but like every additional hour you played, you lost like half an IQ point.
Yeah, basically. It's like I would say it's like playing those fucking carnival games when you like know it's rigged. Like
Yeah.
and you're just like and like the fun of it is like in losing your money. You know what I mean? Like there's no fucking way you're gonna win. It's just and I guess for some reason people find the soap opera fun, but it's like Kardashians for people who have a college degree that like also
Yeah,
want
and
to
I mean,
show that they
like
have
it
a college
also
degree.
it was legitimately funny, right? Like Trump
Yeah, it was funny.
actually
Yeah,
did like even if I went back and I assumed like I have no ability to influence any of this. Voting is totally fake. Like all of these like this scripted down to a T. Like all of this stuff. I still would have enjoyed tagging along if they had entertaining cast members, right?
exactly. And also like betting, like also because I was betting on it, like everybody else, like if winning a nice bet off of it and knowing that like whoever wins, it's still gonna suck, but like maybe I make a little money off this is like was like the fun of it. But yeah, now I'm so black pilled. It's like who cares? I
Totally.
got
Well, I mean,
other shit to do.
it's just boring. Like
Yeah.
it's not like Nancy Pelosi has never once made me laugh. It's just never gonna happen, right? Like
Yes.
nobody, whoever they have writing the script for Nancy Pelosi, it's like it's probably like I don't know, like a low level GOP admin tier tweeter guy. Like whoever's running like the Nebraska college Republicans is probably also writing jokes for Nancy Pelosi, given
Yeah,
like
but literally, yeah.
her hit rate.
Like, and this is and like people try to get a little bit of humor out of Brandon being a fucking
Right, but it's like
It's just not the
it's
same.
so deflated. It's literally just like this weird husk of a man, and we're just going around laughing at like a clearly senile person. And
Yeah.
it's like I mean, there is obviously like some sort of cosmic irony in the fact that we have a literal like dead man walking around animated by some sort of like robot spider who we've like he's like 120 years old, his skin is falling off his body, and we're like pretending that he's like leading something. I guess that's funny in some capacity, but
And like
it's
it
not
really,
like
yeah, it's just not like I don't know, sexy. There's a
yeah.
little bit of sexiness when you think they all go to shit, and it's just now. Hey, what up, Jimbo?
Jimbo, we're doing politics hour here, man. We're doing
What?
irony, bro, politics hour, where we just say we're black pilled and none of this matters over and over.
Let's go vamping. Oh, we were saying like we thought we
We're
didn't
just
care.
talking mostly about how much above all of this politics we are because of our enlightened intellect and huge minds and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. No, we were like we thought we were not. We just couldn't. We didn't care. But, and now we realize how little you can, how deep the well of not giving a fuck about it can go.
Yeah, like
And
in 2016, 2015, whatever, I would have been like, no, I don't care too much about politics. It's not a big. Then 2020 happened and it like instantly hit like bedrock, right? We went we just turbo juked all the way down to the floor.
so there's this weird thing that happens where Jimbo's audio just isn't working for like the first about 5 minutes, but we figured that out, and he starts to talk later on. But sorry for that.
It's this way for everything too. It's not even just politics. It's like if I ask my parents like, "What do you guys think of the news?" Oh, that's all that it sucks. It's fake. It's low quality, whatever. And then it's like they come home and they watch it for 4 hours.
I don't care anymore. Fucking
I do think it's really funny. Like, I had family members who they were like experiencing like legitimate moral quandaries over voting for Biden, right? They were like, it's just I oh, I mean, Trump is just so evil. Like, and you have to vote for someone, or else democracy's a failure. But I just don't know if I can support Joe Biden with some of the things that he said about black people in the past. I was just like, what? This is such a non issue, man. Like, this whole thing is it seems like it's like the escape room of your mind, right? Like, you're intentionally trapping yourself in this sort of like ridiculous labyrinth just to do it.
That would be really. Yeah, we find out, like, we see a video of Biden on Epstein's Island. Yeah, that's basically what happened to him. Yeah, the file came out, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, we can see in his laptop."
They would literally do the same thing. They would run out. They would have like all the Chapo boys come out and say like, they do some sort of, oh, like this isn't fucked up. Actually, this is based. He's just a party boy. They would run the full fucking Hunter Biden playbook.
Just like retroactively make all sex crimes.
And they do it really specifically. Like, they lower it to like 14.7 years old.
But if you guys don't know, the Jimbo has just arrived to the I guess Verse and Lucas podcast. Jimbo, we're working on an introduction. We don't have that down yet.
Yeah, we've got to figure out how to do some music editing.
We don't have a soundboard yet. No, we're amateur hour over here. You started doing like sound effects? You're our first guest, yeah.
You are.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we figured I didn't get you on the last podcast, on the last iteration of my podcasts, so you gotta start off correctly. This one has no clear. We're trying to expand our horizons, right? This one has no clear thematic element, just us being insane. I think that is and then talk to our crazy friends. Before I had like they had to be writers or something, and now I'm like, fuck it, anybody, come through.
They have to be prominent people. We won't let you on unless we have either 40 mutuals with you or you have more than 10,000 followers.
Realistically, I don't really care about mutuals if you have enough followers to signal boost.
At some point I had to make that little rule in my mind, right? Because like you get you're a 700 follower account and Mr. 15K follows you and you've only got 9 mutuals, but you're out here and you're starving, bro. Like, you've got to
get that clout.
I had a very intense conversation with my girlfriend when some like 350,000 follower like OnlyFans like horror poster girl followed me. And I was like, I wouldn't normally follow this person back, but that's a really big number. 350,000. Like, that's a good mutual to have. They only follow like 300 people. Like, come on.
Like, let me have this. Damn,
I know. Well, that was the thing, is I realized if I did it, I was gonna have to like mute her, because like I actually like, like I'm not a huge fan of just like a bunch of tits on my timeline. Generally,
yeah,
I use Twitter like sickeningly publicly, right? Like I'm walking around with this shit like openly on my laptop as I just go from place to place, and you can't be scrolling and have like 62 anime trap hentai photos retweeted by Heartwood as your full timeline, right? Like, that's so bad too. When there's somebody who does it all at the same time, and like you keep scrolling and like there's it's all there. Like, that's the whole timeline, right? Like, there's certain hours of the day where you go through and it's literally like 50 retweets in a row by Heartwood.
It'd be like, I'm gay, and then it's like,
it just posts. It's literally just like a copy pasta of some like 150k journo posts something, and he takes their post and then erases one specific word and replaces it with "I'm gay," and then reposts it, and then he goes and he retweets 60 hentai pictures.
So around here is when we realized that there seems to be some kind of issue with Jimbo, and then his audio comes in.
Wait, what's the cat story?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
how did
yeah,
it get
yeah.
bad again?
So yeah, I feel like all of these eventually wind up coming back to me talking about cats. It's really yeah, yeah. We've built a really strange audience here, but basically I started letting my
We actually
cats
never told
outside
this
because like
in full
they
because
like
this
being
is what got
outside, right? They
erased.
just
So you
act
can
like
go in more
weird
detail.
freaks if you lock them inside all the time. And then my neighbors started feeding them. Like collectively, all of my neighborhood just started like, "Oh, a kitty. It's so cute." And coming over and feeding them or feeding them from their back. And I think we might have actually talked about this some, and I think I talked about it in some other space, but I had one specific neighbor who I guess was taking my cats into her basement and feeding them and sleeping with them. And after like a week, my cats were just like fucking huge, like they were obese. And I was like, how is this happening? Like, because yeah, like I thought they maybe were like catching animals or something. And but then this woman came over and she knocked on my door and she basically she was asking like, do you have fleas, like do you have ticks or anything like that? And I was like, what? No. Bed bugs? No. She like made me show her my arms to like prove that I didn't have flea bites, and she shows me her arms then she's like, what the fuck, I'm covered in these fucking flea bites from your cats. And I'm like I don't think it's yeah, I was like, I don't think it's from my cats. She was like, well, why? It has to be from your cats. It's the only thing I've been touching. And I was like, well, I sleep with my cats and I don't have any of this. So like I feel like I would have it if it was from my cats, you know?
Yeah, she's like a
And
disgusting
she
hoarder
she
old
did a bunch of
lady.
like weird coping stuff, and then she eventually like went to the doctor, and
She probably has
I
bed
guess
bugs.
her doctor told her that it was mites then. And she came back and then she was like, the doctor told me that your cats gave me mites. And I was like, I don't think that's real. So I took mine to the vet and they said, no, your cats are all
It turned out
fine.
she
They
had
don't have any
AIDS.
mites, worms, fleas, whatever, whatever. And then she made up a story about my other neighbors. She was like, yeah, these guys, they were petting your cats and now they have mites too. So I went over and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like this neighbor told me that you
Oh,
guys were
mites.
petting my
Ugh.
cats and uh, they gave you fleas. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. And they were like, what? We don't have fleas. What are you talking about? She told you we have fleas? And I was like, yeah. And then it just came out that she was just totally
Jesus.
lying. Like she just really wanted the story about the fleas to be true. I no, actually, I was telling my family about this.
What like
The
what was her end game? Like what was her end game? Did she want to like sue you or some
I
shit for
I think
like what
basically
was
what
her end
happened
game?
is
Like
she got some sort of
apologize.
parasite and she was really embarrassed by it, and she wanted to excuse it as being like not her fault for being like a dusty person. That's
We should
literally
get
the
her on
only
the
thing that makes
podcast.
any
Fuck it.
sense in
Let's
my
get
mind, because
schizo,
like
your schizo neighbor.
It's like I'm
yeah,
dusty and it's
like
your
it,
fault.
it was just a sheer embarrassment over the issue.
Oh my god. Denial's a hell of a drug.
Making her hungry.
Some, yeah, that's the
The girl hunger thing, man. I was debating between what the fuck is
classic
my
issue.
oh,
This is like when
cat is destroying my yoga
yeah,
mat.
it's like when
But
like your girlfriend's mad about something and then she
the
blames
girl
you.
hunger thing really
Like she's
prevents
hungry,
me
so
from
she blames
you know
you
how
for
like girls will always
some
do
other
their
shit that she
thing
didn't
of
do.
whining about, oh, like
Yeah,
men
you
and
made me.
their
It's because
sex
you didn't
drive, like it's
decide
so
fast
like
enough or something.
such a
Now
massive
we're
weakness.
late.
I
Now I'm
feel
hungry.
exactly the
Some dumb
same
shit like
way
that.
about women and their like incessant desire to snack on foods. That is that is 100, like every time, because it's like I can go and I can just not eat for 3 days, right? Like it's not a big issue. Yeah, like
Wait,
fasting
really?
is not. It's
I needed this power. I can't do this.
If I don't train, I have no appetite. I can go 2 3 days without eating.
What the fuck?
But if I train, then I just have a really big diet.
I'm fucking jealous. I've been trying to. It's like it's me not like I don't eat a lot.
you
Like I
you
don't
could
eat
be a
like
girl too.
regularly, but like I can't skip
You
a
could be a
day.
girl too. That's
What?
what's going on.
I could be a girl.
This has
It's
always been.
possible. I have a vagina. No.
Girls are like performatively like not eat, like no, I'm not hungry, not hungry, and then at like 3 a.m. just like fucking shove their faces
Yeah,
like
exactly.
all at
Right.
once.
Like I eat really one meal a day, but then I sometimes I do like a small lunch or whatever. But like
Wait,
I don't really
was
snack.
anybody here? Was
No,
anybody here a fat kid?
No.
I
You
was
guys
like
were, you guys were normal.
pretty
Okay.
skinny kid.
Jim was like,
I was a real
oh,
turbo
excuse me, never
twink.
mind. Jim was, you were
Yeah,
also.
there's like two types of people. People who are like fat and had to like shed it off, and people who are like always skinny and had to actually struggle to gain weight. And fat guys, they always talk about how hard it is to lose weight. And they're like just I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get it. It's hard to gain weight. Like, no, you don't understand. Uh, losing weight is so hard. I'm like, I get it. Gaining weight is also hard. Like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, just
That was
fucking
what
put the
right.
fork
That was
down,
what I
buddy.
ran
Like, come
into, and
on.
it was
Like,
always like, because I mean, when I started lifting, it was like I had to start eating like 48, like 50, 100 calories to start gaining anything because I was playing 3 hours of tennis a day, and it wound up just being
Okay.
like this thing of blending up a bunch of like oats and peanut butter and protein powder and shit, and just
oh yeah, the
doing the
classic bulk
bulk
shake.
shakes, drinking them, vomiting them up, drinking them again after you remake them, like just keep doing this, and after like 6 months
Oh
or
my
so your
god.
stomach just like caves. It just gives in.
Yeah, no, I ran into this issue when I was like trying to gain weight in like high school. Uh, I would, do the bulk shake, 3 scoops of peanut butter, 2 eggs, bananas, da, 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 mass gainer. I would be gaining weight, but it would just go straight to my gut. So I would just be like skinny, just skinny arms, but I just had a fucking extended like African stomach.
Hell
And I
yeah.
was like, I need to stop this. And then like my jeans stopped fitting. Like I was just gaining weight in like the worst places. I'm like, why are my arms just not growing? I just
That
like
sucks.
just got like big legs and just like big fucking stomach. I'm like, okay,
Not
I'm
even
over
gaining
this.
weight, just
Yeah,
like
Now I'm
you
training. Now
built
I'm
like a
training for
stomach
lowercase
aesthetics.
b.
extension.
I'm training for. I used to train for lifts. Now I just train for aesthetics. It's the only way to do it.
I feel that. I'm trying to. I never had issues with weight up or down. I've always been just like stable, but now I'm like I'm seeing that I'm just not as active as I used to be. Just fun. It's just impossible when you're not like I don't know walking everywhere. Like if you're in Manhattan or if you're working, if you're like I don't know playing a sport or something. And I'm also like 30 now, so it's like I don't have like the youthful testosterone levels that just keep everything down. So now I'm like, oh, I have to
Go to the
actually.
training clinic. Get some free testosterone.
I'm not like that low. I'm just lower than I just
Dude,
am
I
lower than I
found
was.
a local.
Damn, you would admit this? You'd admit being low T is very
I'm
brave.
not low T. You fucking scrub. I'm just not as fucking like like youthful shredded levels of T.
The
Yeah,
local rock
you keep believing
station
that.
I've been
Rock
listening to
solid cope.
recently, and the local
Wait, what do you
rock
say? Local
station,
what
I
station?
think about
Oh
85,
yeah.
You're like
85.
into
No,
igneous
I don't know dude. I literally don't
elementary.
know the names of bands or songs or anything.
No, it's
Oh
like I
yeah,
was
yeah,
saying
yeah.
rock types like igneous
Oh,
and
okay, I got
sedimentary,
you.
but it's fine.
It does sound like a
Anyway,
band name
Jesus
too, though.
Christ.
Uh,
it does
but
sound like actually that's true. Igneous would be a sick band.
probably 90% of their commercials are for TRT clinics. It's all
Hell yeah.
and then, like it's
Dad
like
rock station.
do you wake up in the morning and feel like you're not the man that you want to be? Do you feel like you're failing the
Fuck
people in
yeah.
your life? Do you feel like there's goals and tasks every day when you go to bed that you're leaving unfinished? There's too much on your plate and you just can't handle it. Like it's just this commercial
That's
totally
fucking
fucking
dope.
owning you. And then it finished and you're like kind of wondering where it's
You feel
going
like
because
a fucking piece of shit.
there's no like it's not pitching anything, right? It's just degrading you. You're just getting dominated by this commercial. And then at the very end it goes, visit our TRT clinic where we prescribe everyone.
I can't wait till we start hearing like fucking bimbo hypnotism, fucking or sissy hypnotist like commercials for like
Those like the Sissy
for
Hypno
STD.
recovery clinics.
Yeah.
Like,
That'd
are
be
you a
sick.
former femboy and you want to just put away the dress, become normal again, reverse alpha
Detransing the
hypno,
Oh
femboys.
yeah, we could detransit the
reverse
femboys.
Alex DeLarge.
I don't know who's that. Alex DeLarge.
That's a
Give me the
character
femboys.
that's a character in Clockwork Orange.
Oh, that's it.
Like
Okay,
it's
okay, yeah,
Hypnod.
yeah. Interesting.
A little bit of film buff, a little bit of film buff flexing. Yeah,
No big deal.
yeah.
Just a little
My
Kubrick
favorite
flex.
movie is fucking Clockwork Orange. Yeah, you know.
That's a powerful pick. No, everyone got to respect that pick.
No, not really, but
You
it's
know,
a fucking good
I
movie.
still think that like if you in casual conversation, if you pick a Kubrick movie, everyone's like, oh, he picked Kubrick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't wanna. I don't wanna. I don't wanna hear your Kanye album ranking. I want to hear your Kubrick movie ranking.
I got you. All right. My favorite Kubrick film is maybe Doctor Strangelove. Then 2001 and
The 2001, I've never actually sat through it.
no,
I've seen it like 4 times, but I always fall asleep.
I just like I almost read the book too, just because I know they like released at the same time, but I just never got it. I never finished. I read like the first like section. Um, can't think of all the Cooper movies off the top of my head. I feel like there's one that I'm missing
The one
heavily.
that everybody forgets about is like Spartacus and Lolita.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that I didn't even realize he made Lolita
Yeah.
or Spartacus for that matter. Actually,
Yeah, nobody's seen Spartacus.
um,
Or like Passive Glory. Nobody forgets about that.
yeah.
Number one for me is number two. Number one is easily Barry Lyndon. Two, Strangelove. Eyes Wide Shut. Clockwork Orange. I mean,
Yeah, I swear
fucking,
shut it. Yeah,
it's so hard to rate. It's exactly as hard as rating Kanye albums. They're all
I
just
feel
so
like I
good.
could do Kanye, but I also think about it a lot more. The Kanye ranking, I think, is there's a correct order or something close to it.
We won't talk about it.
I'll just say that you're not. If
Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
everyone knows, but I'll just say this one thing: if you think that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is at the top, you're a fucking bozo. Get the fuck out! You fucking bozo. Log off. Delete the app. Let's see. Wait, Lucas, what's your favorite movie? I never.
That's
You
the
don't seem
thing.
like a
Like I've
movie
been
guy.
sitting here while you guys are talking about this stuff, and I'm realizing, like, holy shit, I have no idea what any of these people are saying. Like, I haven't seen a movie in like 3 years, and that's like
Damn.
Yeah,
that's
honestly, other than anime, I haven't watched a movie in a hot minute.
I literally just got out of seeing this new Predator movie.
Oh yeah, I saw the
Um,
trailer for
yeah,
that.
it's like the Indian, like 1700s, like it's called like Prey.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad.
Oh really?
It's so fucking bad. It's like the girl boss. This is what
They
whenever
made a
they
girl
try to
boss
like
predator. Oh shit.
no, it's a girl boss, protagonist or whatever. But in movies, whenever they try to make a girl boss, they just make an
yeah.
unlikable
No,
character.
that's
She's just like she's like trying to be a hunter in like the Indian village, and then like the like chud Indian guys are like, yeah, you can't hunt, you're a girl. Like stay behind. It's like what the fuck? Like nobody actually talks like this. But it's so funny because like it's just it's like so predictable. Like the entire movie, I like knew exactly what was gonna happen. Like I'm just like watching it. It's like, oh, fuck this. But the Indians in the movie, they talk like just modern American accents. Fucking. But then like
Fucking hell.
there's like these French trapper animal skin trappers, and they're just like thick like dated French accents, and it's just like it's like ridiculous. I'm like it should be like a. It was just so bad. It's just ridiculously bad movie.
I
New
feel like
movies
movies
are
have just
awful.
gone to
every time. So
absolute
like I
dog
don't know if
shit
movies have gone to
recently.
dog
The
shit
only
because
the
I
only
haven't
thing that
seen
was
them, but
good
every time I've seen a trailer was
the only thing
like
that was good was
they've all turned into like the descriptions of scenes that come before somebody making a quote tweet saying, "Oh, I'm sure everybody clapped and the whole bus stood up and gave you a standing ovation." Like it all just seems like super cheesy, like Reddit self appreciation lines.
yeah. Like it's yeah. Like I blame writers. Writers are to blame. They suck. All writers, all screenwriters are the worst people you ever meet. Um,
So I guess
they
my
should be
question is like, are
obliterated.
they actually bad
And
in that like audiences dislike them, or are we just freaks? Like, because my family
no,
seems to still love all this
it's
shit.
whoever likes movies are
Okay.
freaks.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take. Every movie fan is a fucking
like like
freak.
like you watch the new Spider-Man, you liked it. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like there must be something wrong with you. But it's also like they're made movies now are made for people that don't like who don't like movies.
Yeah, that's very true. They're made to like as like an event, not really a movie.
And it's like this weird transitory period where like, you know, they have to play off nostalgia and like there's no new IPs, there's like a sequel and like a reboot or whatever, but they're playing off nostalgia, but at the same time, the newer audience doesn't have the same nostalgia. Like they didn't grow up with the same stuff that these movies are like trying to build nostalgia off of. So they just have to generate this new nostalgia for like, you know, like what are like the Zoomers nostalgic for? Like it's just like, oh, like this is not something to be nostalgic over. Like you're just taking the worst parts of like pop culture and like shoving it back into people's faces.
Shrek
Like no, like
Shrek
this isn't.
37
People don't actually
with
care about
an
this.
entire soundtrack. It's just all-star looped for 3 hours. There's no dialogue
That
even.
would go kind of fucking.
The only good new movie is the new Jordan Peele movie. It's fucking
I've heard
awesome.
multiple people say it was good actually, so I'm gonna check that out.
It's his peak. It's his best movie
Really,
by far.
better than
It's
because I like it. So far, my favorite one's the one with Lupita, the with the like upside down world. With
oh, that one sucked.
you don't like that one? Which one's your
Uh,
favorite before this?
uh, fucking Get Out.
Oh, I mean, Get Out was cool too.
I
I
mean,
just
like previously, they're all just like heavy-handed, like black sort of politics, and like oh my god, um, with us, it was like sort of like weird socialist undertones, not even undertones, like
it was
objectively
just
like
socialism. Yeah.
but this one is just completely just like a cool alien like creature movie.
Oh, that's what I need.
Like there's no heavy-handed politics. There's a little bit like they trick you at the beginning. It's like, oh, you think it's gonna be about like fucking the black plight, but it's just cool. It's like, oh, it's like badass.
Yeah, that's what gets me annoyed with his like, and also like I didn't like Get Out as much because he basically ripped off this play called The Dutchman, and I'd read that play like multiple times when I was like in college, and I just was like, oh, this bit. I I mean he switched it up a little bit with like some fun hypnotism and shit, but like the premise overall, I was like, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
But nice. I like some new IPs. Oh, you know what movie looked really fucking good? I saw the premiere of during Consensus was the new Kevin Smith movie that's coming out. He did this fucking
Kevin Smith.
yeah, the Jay and Silent Bob director,
Oh yeah,
and he
new
basically makes
Clerks.
only horror movies. He's making a horror movie that's like uh it's like this weird fucking vigilante film, and he's like a mutant kind of murderer vigilante type of thing, and he ends up killing pedophiles. It's like a really fucking sick ass movie, and like he premiered like 20 minutes of it, and it was like fucking dope. He was feeding some dude to alligators. The shit was lit.
Ah, nice.
So I'm excited for that whenever that comes out.
Yeah, just get excited for new media.
New media.
I mean, but it's fucking crazy. I what I'm just still just like we're just at like multiple different inflection points. Like when you think about like the pendulum swinging, like I feel like the pendulum is at like the apex and is like about to start swinging again, but it's just stagnant. Like what are people excited about? Like what are people like even like the crypto narrative is like stale because like okay, nothing really happened. It's just gambling, cool. But like what are like the generally what are people even excited for? It's like I can't even think of anything.
Yeah, people don't
Like
have
there's
like
no optimism.
there's zero optimism. Yeah, we need some like a paradigm shifting. Like the only thing I've seen people even remotely like positive about has been like Dolly and Stable Diffusion.
Which
So,
absolutely sucks.
which does suck, yeah. But it's like for some reason that's like the only I've heard basically nothing positive. There's no optimism in any field. It's like that, and like if you're libertarian, 3D printers still get you good hard.
3D printers are actually pretty cool.
3D printer guys are so funny.
I want
Like
one
they
so
never
bad.
have one.
I'm
They
literally
never have, like, one.
sitting
They
in
always
front
have
of
like
like 3 of
multiple.
them right now.
Hell yeah. I need like a fleet of 3D printers. That's the next wave for sure. I mean, it's already a wave.
They're
now,
really
but
useful, but also it's like
I'm really excited to own nothing and be happy.
I can own anything that I want now that I have a 3D printer. I really fucking want a
yeah, now
metal
yeah,
3D
now it's
printer.
just
That shit is so cool, man. Like I don't know, a lot of my friends have been kind of stockpiling manufacturing technology stuff like if they have Yeah.
Means
Like
of production.
I don't know. They have like the nice tech salaries. Every time they get like a bonus or something, they'll go buy like a 30K like Haas CNC mill or something like that. Or like a
Oh shit, that's lit.
I honestly, I think CNC is cooler than 3D printing.
So it is, but the only reason is because you can machine metal. Metal is literally like
Yeah.
once you get a metal 3D printer, everything else gets kind of BTFO. It's just that metal 3D printing is going to be a massive pain in the ass because like you have to have basically like a clean room environment. Yeah, like you have to have
Really.
Oh yeah, it's 'cause small
yeah, or
particles.
else it
Yeah.
basically explodes the structural integrity of everything you're trying to do. And there's a bunch of different. I mean, there's a bunch of cool techs for it. Like some of them basically just drop a tiny trail of powder on stuff and then like instantly laser the powder to melt it, and it just goes around dropping powder and lasering it and stuff until you eventually build the part up from the ground. But like there's just a lot of geometries that are really 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 inconvenient to machine, but if you have a 3D printer, suddenly it's like everything gets opened up to you. Like there's all these that's probably the worst fucking first example if you want to talk about things. Right,
I'll beat that out for you.
Getting fucking rated. Guaranteed
Yeah, no.
it. Lock it in, man.
Remember the Las Vegas shooting? The entire narrative on like what was like the result of like legislation and like what are we doing about this? This never happens again. What did they decide doing? Ban bump stocks.
That was so silly.
Like
Oh really?
that was the whole thing. It's like, oh, he had a AR-15
Yeah, they
with bump
claimed
stock, the banned bump stock,
Dude,
which is the easiest thing possible to make in a 3D
well,
printer.
I mean, like if you're
right?
gonna make a bump stock in a 3D printer, you're just gonna put an auto sear on the thing, right? Like if they're both illegal at this point, yeah,
What's the
everyone's
difference,
just
yeah?
gonna drill out the third hole and
Yeah, exactly.
I need a fucking fleet. I just every single day I'm like just craving it. I need to get some of this some 3D printer and the CNC shit.
I can never think of like what I want to make.
That's the problem. Is
that
so
is a
many people
problem. I
buy
have
them
no
and
idea
they
what I
just
wanna
like
make.
3D print little like Star Wars figurines and stuff, and their desk just fills up with like miniature Yodas.
Yeah, people 3D print people 3D print little figurines and trinkets that they wouldn't even buy it for $1 at a dollar
Yeah.
store. Like
Yeah,
if you
pretty
saw
much.
this at a store, you just like why would I waste money on this? But yet they just like froth the mouth on just printing useless items.
And then I saw like fucking TikTok like channel, and he like 3D prints fucking like full replica armors of like Iron Man.
Yeah, dude, it's all really
and that's like that's pretty blackpilling. I'm like, you have, and he's like really good at it too. I'm like, you couldn't.
This
use
is the thing
for
that
something
pisses
more
me off
productive,
is
but-
like 3D printers are actually really cool, but it's like they get stolen by the guys who I don't know how to like describe them super well, but you know how there's like that sort of like raw male autism that gets sidetracked with like fountain pens and audiophile stuff and building computers and gaming, like all of this stuff. It gets sidetracked in the same way as 3D printing, where it's like
Mechanical
you literally have a
keyboard
tool
guys.
that's capable of building like any sort of geometry you want, and they like their brains shut off and they just go Google like, oh, what do I 3D print? But like you can, I mean, it's so good for tooling, right? Like let's say on like a BMW bike I have, right? Like they have inverted Torx head fasteners, and it's like I can either go and buy like $120 set of these nice weird specialty tools, or I can just print off the one that I need, and it will for sure last for long enough for me to take this bolt on and off a few times, and it will be $0. Or like I have like, you know, anytime you break like a mounting bracket or something like that, there's just all of these little, like if you build stuff generally, there's always going to be a use for it. Or like you need to make an enclosure, you need to separate two like printed circuit boards on something. There's just a huge, but like nobody does anything, so nobody has a use for it, right? Like if you don't have anything else in your life that you need tools for, it's dumb to buy tools. Like it's the equivalent of like if you were to just say, I'm going to go buy the full Milwaukee M18 battery power set, and then it's like you don't have any intended projects, right? Like you're not going to build a house. You're not going to, so you
Yeah.
go on Reddit and you're like, what do I use my drill for? And you just wind up like fucking up your drywall. Like you just drill 1 million holes in your bathroom just for the shit of it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I want to build shit with the 3D printer, but like, unless I guess I have to start like prototyping shit. I don't know.
You can an application that I saw
Of course,
that
God,
actually
yeah.
like there's like wax 3D printing which you can use to make jewelry.
Yeah,
Like
like a
you
little
can make like
Etsy shop.
molds. Yeah, you can do like jewelry 3D printed really easily.
I would
Stuff
definitely
that'd be
do a
like almost
3D printing
impossible.
side hustle for sure. Like, that's too hard to pass up. They have websites where
Yeah,
you can
but
just literally rent your shit out and just print shit up for people and mail it.
literally like little things like if you need a latch for your fence, you go to the store
There
to
was a
get it,
guy
or you just
who he
print
just
it, right?
started printing like
Like
hundreds of
little tiny things.
mailbox flags. Because I guess like it's one of those
Yeah.
things where nobody had at the time nobody had like a decent injection molded universal mailbox flag. So he just got a bunch of red filament and printed them off, sold them for like $9 or something, and literally made like millions of dollars before anybody spun up the like injection molding for it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's sick as fuck. Oh yeah, this is side hustle.
Yeah,
Fucking
I mean
Shangri-La.
it's a little bit tricky now
But
because
the
there's a
the first thing that you
bajillion
do,
like everybody has a 3D printer now basically. Like after COVID, everybody who has like
and
everybody
they're
who
so
has
cheap.
the agency
Yeah, they are pretty
required
cheap, yeah.
to download the software, learn how to 3D model something yourself, like all of this stuff, they all have the printers by now. So you're competing with like millions of people. But fortunately, most of them are really unoriginal
Yeah,
and
but
very stupid.
nobody's creative.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. Like the people who have the agency are making Warhammer models for their campaign.
It's
You know what I mean? Like,
it's the same with coding. It's like there's so many coders, but nobody actually knows how to code, and like they have no creativity. But like, oh,
you're like, I can
you can
code,
make
but I
whatever you
can't
want.
code. I have no idea
Yeah,
what the fuck I
exactly.
would make. Yeah.
Yeah,
What I did was
it's like
I
a bunch
started
of
reaching
boot
out to
camp
people with
monkeys.
Etsy stores, and I would find there's a lot of girls who have Etsy stores, but they have really low like entrepreneurial drive, really low desire to scale anything. And so just get in contact and be like, hey, you're making this the hard way. What would you say if I told you we can double or triple your production quantity over the course of the next week or two? How much would that be worth to you?
That's the
Or
way to
just
do it.
like because for a lot of these
Just
little
looking
arts
at
and
just
crafts things, like especially needle felting projects, if you have some sort of a jig or you have some sort of a skeleton for the project itself, it becomes really easy to just kind of like attach it on as scaffolding as opposed to like free ball the design every single time, and then you can just kind of like crank stuff
Mhm.
out really fast.
You know what? If I was 11 with a 3D printer, the first thing I would do is build Lego pieces.
yeah, 100%. Lego pieces, action figures. I'd make my own fucking Transformers.
Yeah, that's probably the first thing I
Actually,
would do.
I would have probably made. You know what they stopped doing? Like around when I was like 11, is making the full like proper Megazords for Power Rangers, like the ones that like you can actually like connect and stuff.
I've never seen Power Rangers. I have no idea what that is.
You, oh, are you that fucking young? Oh goddamn, I'm old. So Power Rangers is like.
I mean, maybe it's not a youth thing. I just never seen it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So basically, they had like these kaiju fights with like robots, and it's like Voltron actually. And
Okay.
so the Voltron, like they for a long
They like
time,
assemble, right? Is
yeah,
it
they
like
assemble, and like they
it's
used
like
to like
American
actually
anime?
assemble, and they would make the toys and you could buy them, and they would like actually separate and assemble and be fully functional on their own, and then they can also work together. And then at some point they just stopped doing that. Like it was like too much effort, I guess. And I had all of them up to the point where they didn't do that. So I probably would have made that when I was younger. Hmm. Yeah, I need to start brainstorming 3D printer fucking side hustle ideas. And that's
Yeah,
like
but the first thing you do with the 3D printer is print attachments and
Yeah, that's
upgrades
what
to the
everybody.
printer
It
itself.
hell
that's
yeah.
literally
Wait,
what
really?
Yeah,
That's
so
everybody
actually
gets. So it gets
yeah,
really really
yeah.
silly.
It's the first thing you do. You just print upgrades to
There's
the
actually
printer.
a bunch of
hell
printers out
yeah.
there that
That's
sell
like
you
fucking
like just the shittiest, basic, most flimsy framework possible, and then they rely on the assumption that you're going to go and print out the CAD files and reinforcements that they provide.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of sick. That's like
But I think the biggest problem is 3D printer. It's like, like medium is a message type thing. It's like 3D printed things aren't just like, you can't just do it. You have to add the gimmick of it being a 3D printed thing,
Well,
right?
because they're shitty
It's
parts. If
like you have to add the
they have to
novelty.
like be compensated for the fact that the parts are of low quality, right? Like if I'm gonna compare an injection
Yeah.
molded part to a 3D printed part, the 3D printed part is total ass.
Yeah. But does it ever get as good as injection mold? Like,
There's a way. I mean, you
is
can
there
do like
ever a
post
world with,
processing if you want to get it there aesthetically, but it like the lines just look shitty, and there's no way around it. And the
like
lines are
sanding?
always going to have.
Yeah.
They're always going to be less sticky, right? Like, and you can use like
Yeah.
really like there's a bunch of TISM materials, right? Like if you want to go get some sort of like nylon reinforced with carbon fiber, you can like there's really strong filaments that you can use, but like there's not really anything preventing people from making an equivalent part out of injection molding if they get equivalently autistic with it.
Yeah, you 3D print the mold and then you injection
But then
mold
you have
it.
to do post processing
oh
because
yeah,
your
that's
mold
true.
now has a bunch of shitty looking lines.
Yeah, the lines.
Hmm.
But 3D printing, the 3D printed guy got subsumed, or the carpentry woodworking guy got subsumed by the 3D printed guy.
So true. I was just telling people, if you can like make furniture right now in like 2022, like woodworking, like that's like, I don't know, that brings all the girls to the yard. That's some shit. Like my fucking roommate used to like just build furniture for us. He'd be like, oh, we need a table, and just would go in the garage and come back with one. I'm like, fuck, that's sick.
Yeah, my problem is that I have like ideas for tables and chairs, but like I don't want to I don't have any place to put it. Like if I need a new table or chair, then yes, I'll build it, but I just like, am I gonna sell it right away? Like I don't want to like just
Yeah, and
have a
then it gets to
fucking
be like
warehouse full of
there's
fucking
no
tables and chairs.
reasonable way you can scale the furniture thing without like becoming some sort of woodworking expert guy who's always like, there's never a point where you can step back. You either have to spend 20 years
Yeah,
developing the skill and then training an apprentice, and then finally when you're like 80 years old you can
yeah,
run your own company, or you have to literally be woodworking for like
yeah.
16 hours a day.
You have to be very careful. The moment you do anything, you risk doing it really well, and that just becomes your thing.
Yeah, so true. Actually, you're
It's
just
just
fucking
bad
stuck
when it's
doing that
things that
now.
you can't
Yeah, I guess is what
outsource
I
to
do
people,
now.
right? Like you can't automate it. There's
Yeah,
no there's
it's like
no
fuck it, I'll do it
reasonable way you're
myself.
gonna automate like high level woodworking unless you become like
Yeah.
the Jeff Bezos of like chairs, right?
But you don't really need to though. You can just charge like rich
Well,
people
the
a lot of
Jeff
money.
Bezos of chairs was Eames.
I don't know who that is.
Um, the Eames chair, like the classic lounge chair.
Let me see. Let me
Uh,
Google it.
Ray Eames. He made the classic lounge chair that like every interior designer cell is obsessed with. He also did the kindergarten
Oh, this one.
schools.
Okay, like this is like what you see in like fucking 80s like Wall Street movies.
Yeah, but he
Okay.
also did he basically did every little kid kindergarten chair, like plastic mold, sort of like school,
Oh yeah, I see those
preschool
too. Yeah,
kindergarten chair. Uh, and
that's the real moneymaker.
his whole idea was like, how efficiently can I make these? Like it's all machined, very easy to make, machine level, uh, fucking very quick, very fast, but like cheap and good designs, right? Like he was a Bezos chairs. He made the quintessential chair.
You want to make some product really well and sell it at scale to like schools and the government because you could charge like $20,000 a fucking chair, and the government will just pay that shit. Or like how like
Yeah,
how like businesses will buy from
Yeah,
Aeron
Herman Miller kind of
and like
already. That's what I was gonna
and
say.
they're like
Herman
three
Miller
thousand.
locked that market
Herman Miller,
down
yeah.
because they got in with the. You're gonna be sued for ergonomic destruction of your employees if you don't buy our chairs with 47 points of adjustment.
yeah.
And in fairness, those shares do rock, but it's still like
And then you have the standing desk.
that's so cringe. I mean, I understand like it's not cringe, but it's like not something I would do ever because like
That
I
market
don't
down
want to
because
like
they got in with the. you're going to be sued for ergonomic destruction of your employees if you don't buy our chairs
Yeah,
with
but
47
that was
points of
creative.
adjustment.
So the episode cuts off there mostly because there's a the weird connection issue with Lucas's whatever. Like there's a weird audio issue. So because of that, I'm just gonna call the episode here, and then the other half of the conversation I will release either later this week or next week. We talk for another hour, so it seems like a fair, a reasonable, natural endpoint. But thanks, like, share, subscribe, follow me, Verse, obviously at Versaloon, Verse underscore, whatever. You guys know who the fuck I am. And then Lucas Schizofrequency, and then Jimbo, Yo Jimbo underscore King on Twitter. And I'll catch you guys later.